That's my buddy. Good boy. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm back with another video on the 3.9 to 5.9 swap. Things been moving along pretty good. I got a chance to edit my harness a little bit. I got to add the injectors. Most likely tomorrow I got to run down to my shop and grab a couple tools. But another main video I wanted to make, because there's, again, no information out there on it. And I just feel like a lot of people have never really done this swap, or maybe it's just the year that my motor is that I'm running into this issue. But it's really important, so I wanted to touch base on it. So anyways, here is the common 3.9 bracket. See this one, I got it powder coated, so it's nice and purty, okay? So this is a common 3.9 bracket, all right? So I noticed it was weird when I tore my 5.9 apart. I gotta find it real fast. Here you go. This is the 5.9 bracket, okay? And now this will come on any kind of 5.9, whether it's in a van, a Jeep, a Dakota, a Durango, no matter what it's in, it's going to have this bracket opposed to the smaller ones. So if you look at it, in retrospect, this one just looks like a beefier bracket. So that's exactly what I thought at the time. When I saw it, I said, oh, you know what, it's just a beefier bracket, whatever. And I chucked it. Well, I'm glad I held on to it because I ran into this issue, okay? So now let's run over to this bracket. This is the 5.9 bracket. Again, you're going to find it on the same vehicles I just recommended to you. Or mentioned to you. Now all the bolt holes are the same, okay? The mounting stud at the top for the cross bracket's the same. The spot where the dipstick mounts to is the same. All the bolt hardware. This is all bolt hardware I salvaged from a 3.9. I just cleaned them up a little bit. That's why they look nice, but they're used bolts. But here is the problem. So when this bracket goes on, okay, I didn't notice this till the other day. The 3.9 Dakota compressor and the 5.9 Dakota AC compressor are different. Now, I know the power steering pumps are the same. I know the coolers or mufflers, whatever you want to call them, those little riveted guys that run below the power steering pump, they are the same. But these brackets are not. And now I'm going to show that to you real fast. This is really important. This bracket I didn't pay for, so it's not a huge loss. Like I said, it came off the motor, but I did take it off, and I probably had about 2 hours into cleaning and sandblasting it, and then I paid someone about 25 bucks. It was like either 20 or 25 bucks to powder coat it to make it look this goddamn nice. And it's a beautiful looking bracket now, but here's the problem, guys. Look what happens when I compare these brackets. The back holes obviously will line up because it's just a pivot point, but do you see the difference? It'd probably be easier if I put this one over it. Do you see the difference in size? Do you see how far off those mounting holes are? Well, it's the same thing on the bracket points. So when you look at this, look, you see how this 5.9 bracket lines up? Well, you would think to yourself, oh, just use this bracket and this this main engine bracket and you're good to go. No, you can't do that, not unless you have a spare AC compressor laying around. So I dug in a little deeper and I looked it up online, and it turns out the 5.9 and the 3.9 run completely different AC compressors. So again, guys, like I said, that's a big subject I wanted to touch base on. Like I said, I didn't notice it until I was lining everything up, because this swap's going to be getting done sometime in the next month. I've just been so crunched for time. Like I said, I still got to get my harness done. I finally got my air hat done. I went ahead and I took the one with my 3.9. I cut off the hole where it usually has the straight breather back in the intake. I put my breather in my 3.9. If you notice, it's missing now. I put the breather in the 3.9 temporarily, and what I did was I drilled out that hole that's in the back of the air hat, and I actually put my IAC sensor in it. This guy, or actually, I take that back. Here's the plug for it, the intake air temperature sensor, whatever it is. The guy that's usually right here in the stock intake. Well, I took that and I put it in the air hat. There is studies that show that what happens is, guys, when you put that sensor inside the intake, when the engine warms up. Now, I don't know if it's meant that way for stock motors, but with aftermarket and performance motors like this, you really want to put them in a cooler location, because as the motor heats up, it's going to change your air-fuel ratio, from what I've heard. Now, that could be wrong, but I've heard that come from a lot of people's mouths that actually know what they're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's pretty factual. So like I said, it's a good idea. Even if you're not doing all this BS, if you're just doing, let's say, headers and a bigger throttle body, I would go ahead and pull that sensor out of your intake. If you're reusing your intake, just put a plug in it like these. Any one of those plugs will work. Those are 1/4 inch. These are, I believe, they're not 5/8 because I think these are 5/8 over here, and these wouldn't fit. Let me grab one. Reaching across this table. These guys wouldn't fit. These are the size up from that. So to be honest with you guys, I would say they're 3/8 and these are 5/8. So I would say it's a 3/8 plug. Just take a little bit of RTV, hit the sides of the threads with it. As you screw it in, the threads will seal it off, and like I said, reroute it up there. If you're not good with wiring, or if you're not good with butt connectors or whatever, maybe it's not worth it to you guys, but to me, I highly advise you do it. I think there's power potential in it. Not life-changing, but I would say there's probably a good, maybe 1 or 2 horsepower you can free up in the top end, on a hard hit. You know what I mean? If you're out on the highway and the motor's at operating temperature and you gun it, you know what I mean? You're doing like a 0 to 60 pull, coming onto the highway or something, you could probably get a good horsepower, maybe 2 out of something like that, out of rerouting it. Like I said, it's not life-changing, but it is worthwhile. So aside from that, guys, like I said, I wanted to touch base on this bracket because it's very important. Like I said, if I could have found that research somewhere or someone to tell me that, I wouldn't have spent the $25 to get this powder coated. And like I said, it's really no skin off my back. I'm just going to take my 3.9 bracket and put it on this motor. The only thing that sucks is, like I said, everything on the motor's, pretty much done up for a freaking showroom, and now I'm going to have this old beat up 3.9 bracket on it. So I might pull it off in my free time in the next couple days and run it over to my powder coat guy. But to be honest with you guys, I'm kind of tired of putting money into it. I'm probably just going to put that bracket on and get it running, and then in my free time, I've got it in good with a junkyard. They're the guys I got the computer from and the harness from and the motor from, and I'm probably just going to go to them and wait for them to have a 3.9 Magnum come in, and I'll just grab the bracket then. I also need a spare air hat, and I also needed a couple other spare things that they're already on the lookout for me to grab for me. So yeah, aside from that, guys, I hope this helps. Again, like I said, there's no information out there on this, but this is a big issue. You know what I mean? If it comes down to swap day, you're not going to have that bracket, and it's going to set you back. So at least with that out of the way, it should help you somewhat. All right, guys, I'm going to stop talking now. Take it easy.